Hello, everyone. Today is the year of 2022, March. Today is the Wu Earth Day with Tiger, the wood. This is 7 p.m. right now in the United States. It's rainwater with She Earth, the dog. I'd like to start with one question from last week. I think I didn't really answer correctly. I want to start with this. So the question was, does polarity matter? What if someone's bata all yang or all yin? I think I didn't quite understand this question last week, but I think this is all 8 yang penetrating chart or 8 yin penetrating chart. I misunderstood because there are several different kinds of yin and yang perspective. And I thought it was like this principle of yin and yang, which means wood fire as yang and metal water as yin. When I put the stems and branches, it would be like that. Wood stems, wood branch, fire stems, fire branches are all yang. And metal and water stems or branches will be yin. And earth is in the middle, but there will be the yang aspect as goat or the dog because it stores wood and fire. And the ox and dragon kind of considered as an yin aspect, yin element, because it contains metal and water inside. But I think that question was like the plus or minus, the yang stem or yin stem, or yang branch or yin branch, as plus and minus. So if we divide yin and yang like that, there will be all 5 elements in yang and all 5 elements in yin. So if the one's chart has all these plus characters inside, it is called as a yang, 8 yang penetrating chart, which means yang ba tong. And if the chart is all in stems and branches, it is called as all in or 8 in penetrating chart, yin ba tong. I guess the question was this, and I have several friends who has the yang penetrating or yin penetrating chart, and they have very special quality in their personality, especially. Yang is usually considered as a expanding aspect. Yin is usually contracting aspect. So 8 yang penetrating, it has all 8 yang character, so it has very expanded mind, very straightforward. This person could be very active or adventurous, and usually they act first before think. So it's more yang oriented person. And in penetrating chart person is usually very contracted mind. They do not expand their thinking to outer side, but kind of it is like narrowed mind. So it's very pinpointed. And because it is in, they could be very passive and defensive. They like safe area. Could be introverted. Yang, 8 yang penetrating chart people could be more outroverted. And in penetrating chart person is usually quiet, more thinking, and less action. But at the same time, the 8 yang penetrating chart, it is very young. I was like exterior, I will say very young. And inner character could be yin oriented because it is all yang. Yin is created from that all yang. And the all yin character could be the opposite. It could be very yin, but inner character could be very yang oriented. So yang penetrating chart can have very expanded mind, very active, but inside their mind is very careful, and could be very stingy. And a in penetrating chart could be different. They look very contracted, but inside they have really explosive mind. They kind of hold that kind of braveness inside, could be very bold and brave. And to explain that, I brought this is so overwhelming, but yeah, this is the 12 hexagrams. 12 hexagrams that show the how yin and yang are simply developing. So red is yang line, and black is yin line. It is showing how the yang is growing from the 1 yang to 2 yang, 3, 4, 5, 6 yang. And then now, after the 6 yang, yin is growing from the 1 to 6. To explain the yang penetrating and yin penetrating, I just want to focus on these two and these two, like 6 yang, 2, 1 yin is creating this area, and the 6 yin to the 1 yang. So when there are full of yang lines, now 1 yin line is created next. And when there are full of yin here, now 1 yang line is created next. So whenever yang is maximized, the yin aspect will be created from that. And whenever yin is maximized, the yang aspect will be created. When in summer, when it is really hot in summer, we desire for cold, right? And in winter time, if it is really cold, we desire for hot. So that is one explanation. And another explanation might be when you are really full after having lunch or dinner, you don't want to buy anything in the market. And when you are really, really hungry, you try to buy everything in the market. So that's the explanation of the yang. If yang is 6, if they are all yang energy, if when you are really full, you don't need to eat anything after that. Now you just want to take a rest, something like that. And if you are really, really hungry, that small yang energy, which I describe as a want to eat something, could be really exaggerated. And this is also the flow of 12 branches. Some scholar did that. It is explaining why the exterior is very yang aspect in 8 yang penetrating chart person, and inner is very yin. The 8 yin penetrating chart people, exterior could be very yin, but inner character could be really yang, exactly similar to this aspect. They have common aspect. 8 yin or 8 yang, they both have kind of lack of diversity, I will say. That is the S. Yeah, diversity. Because all 8 yang or all 8 yin is kind of two poles in the other side. So they could have one-sided thinking. And it could be good or bad because actually when they start worrying or thinking about something, when they are interested in one topic, they keep thinking about the same thing. And there could be an kind of the quality of an expert or professional. So if they are solo, it is totally fine when they keep thinking about one thing. It could be very professional. However, if they are in a marriage life and when they keep thinking about same thing, these people's wife or husband have to experience how these people think and talk just beside of them. They keep saying the same thing, saying the same topic, and then they have to listen to that. So usually in classics, 8 yang penetrating chart people or 8 yin penetrating chart people have kind of not really good at the marriage life. But I think if they recognize that and then stop doing that in front of their spouse, it will be fine. I have several people who have yang penetrating, but their marriage life is okay. That was the answer from last week's question.